Whether you bond over streaming binge-worthy videos, watching sports recaps, video gaming, or by unplugging altogether, the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus Hybrid helps keep you connected throughout your journey. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Available connectivity features and functionality vary by model. Package pricing, trials, and term lengths vary by model. Video streaming and games are only available while parked.
I'm Nina Concepcion.
I'm Catherine Bourne-Taylor.
And we are Obsessed.
Obsessed is a comedy podcast about your hyperfixations, the ones that keep you up at night, hijack your group chats, and send you down a rabbit hole.
Each episode, we deep dive and unpack the niche interests you just can't get your mind off of. No obsession is too weird when you're among friends.
So, today's episode is a little different. It's actually one of the first episodes we ever recorded for the pod, back when we were kind of figuring out what this whole thing was going to be.
This was pretty dark. I don't think I was prepared for the darkness. Or just like, not dark, it's just like, it's
heavy.
Just not a happy story.
It's not a happy story, but it is really interesting.
It is.
And I do think there's like some magic elements to it.
I think so. And I think it speaks to, it was interesting because as you'll listen to our lovely guest, Dakota, talk about this story, I think it's really interesting when this story happened to him, like when it hooked him and that collective feeling of isolation and loneliness the world was experiencing.
Yeah, so many of my obsessions actually started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of people. Like when you're stuck inside with like a screen, your books, people that you're getting sick of, that is like very fertile ground for an obsession to grow. Well, thanks for listening to it.
I know. I was very quiet during the episode because I'm like, this is crazy.
I know. It's absolutely
It's
wild.
a lot to like take in. And it was fascinating. So I think it speaks to the other side of obsession where it becomes like this deep compulsion to know things.
Yeah. Obsession has two sides of the coin. And sometimes I do think like you teeter on the line.
Oh my God. Okay, so should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so who is Dakota?
Dakota is an actor in Los Angeles. A lot of folks may know him from Dexter: New Blood, where he plays Miles, which I did not know this, has the most confirmed kills in the entire Dexter verse.
So cool.
Pretty freaking cool.
It's also cool when you're a character who has a wiki, like on Dexter Wiki.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know you fucking made it.
You're in it.
You're in the lore and the canon.
You're in the mix, as we say a lot in this episode.
Say a lot. Incredible guest. So let's get into it. Dakota, before we get into the story, do you consider yourself a person that becomes obsessed with things? Like, what's your relation to hyperfixating on something?
So that's a really good question because I'm not I think there's so much in that's semantic drift, like people awesome. Awesome is meant for the sun and nuclear bombs and stuff. And obsessed is kind of like that now where people are like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with your hair. And I think of obsession as this sort of, it's something that happens that completely breaks your notion of reality.
Ooh.
And it can be good or bad. It can be Taylor Swift or something, and your brain just becomes so fixated on it that you can't let it go. It keeps ruminating and fixating on it until till things go back to normal. And sometimes that doesn't happen. And this story isn't I'm obsessed with stickers. Every time I go to Daiso, I have to pick up some stickers, and I'm just stickers are my thing. And follow me at Sticker Steve on Truth Social. The sticker world gets pretty right wing if you don't know.
There's a pipeline.
Yeah. And this. So I think I've only been obsessed twice, and this is one of them.
I love that. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know this story.
Really quick, some cool stuff about Dakota. You're an actor.
Yes.
Here in Los Angeles.
Which is a big part of this.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's
great.
important to know.
Great.
So this started Your obsession started during the pandemic, right?
Right.
If I remember that. Okay.
Like fresh in the, like, I think a week or so into it. And it was that, really there was just a lot up in the air and people were like, what is going on? And I had been in LA for about like a year, 2 years ish, and was just kind of getting my feet, set. And
Where did you move from?
New York. So New York City, but I'm originally from like New Hampshire and a couple other places. But I was with a really big agency, and I was going and testing for all these pilots and getting really, really close for a lot of things and getting pinned and just kind of coming up empty-handed. And then quarantine happens, and it's just everything's shut down. It's like, my agents were that big. I was like, are they even going to keep me on? And you're just in limbo. And so it was just one night I put on a movie that I really like. That it was a movie that I don't love, right? It's a movie, but I've seen it a lot. So I was like, I'll just something comfortable to put on in the background to try to take my mind off things. And oh boy, that is not what happened. It was so.
What's the movie?
The movie is Armageddon.
Love.
So good.
Recently rewatched.
Real? Okay, so you're ready.
I love Michael Bay for the trash that he creates.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, great.
Are you familiar with the character Noonan?
Which one's that?
Exactly.
Exactly, Nina. Exactly.
Exactly.
He has a name though. He's named in the credits.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So who are the people in that movie?
I mean,
off
like,
the top of your head, just the big
Bruce
ones.
Willis, Ben Affleck,
Liv Tyler,
Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
I forget who plays like the president.
Don't worry. I mean, the Texas guy, but anyway.
Yeah, guy from Green Mile. Like it's like the
Owen Wilson.
What's the guy?
Michael
The guy
Clark
from
Duncan.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? The coach.
Yeah, he plays Chick, but
Oh my God, he's like a famous actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's like everyone.
So what if I told you that there was another guy
Okay.
that's a part of the Roughnecks, that the astronauts that go up into space.
The oil drillers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's in the entire movie.
Okay.
And
Noonan.
Wait, can I pull up the IMDb?
Noonan.
Is he like listed on
He
IMDb?
has. So wait. Hold on.
Okay.
So he has like 20 lines.
Okay.
He's in the poster. He's in the trailer.
He's in the poster.
I just want to see I want to know what his face is.
Is
Okay.
he's in the movie.
Okay.
But he's never spoken to.
Okay.
He's only referred to.
Okay.
You don't see him die.
Okay.
You only offhandedly hear that he dies because Ben Affleck goes, "I lost 2 of my friends back there." And so you see Owen Wilson die, but you don't see this.
Owen Wilson's in it. I forgot.
But anyway, this guy, he goes to space.
Wait, I need to see.
Nina's scrolling.
Oh my God, he doesn't even have an IMDb photo.
Okay, so I'm like, who is this guy? And he's like this handsome white guy with brown hair, brown eyes, and I'm like, and
Made
blue
for
eyes.
Hollywood.
And he's in the movie. And he's going in all the training montages. He goes to space. He has the space suit. And I've seen this movie. I grew up with it 100 times. I've never seen this guy before. And I'm like, who is he? And so, like with anything on the internet today, I'm like, well, I'll just Google it. There'll probably be a cool little IMDb trivia or factoid. Nothing. I Google the actor, as we've said on IMDb. He has no bio. He has no picture. He has Armageddon was his last movie.
Whoa.
Were other people like talking about this on Reddit or anything?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing. And when I say, I mean like nobody. I texted everybody I knew that knew this movie, and I was like, and I asked the same question, and no one was aware of it, and seemingly no one else had ever asked this question on the internet, and that's where it really was like, this isn't okay.
You're the only person who's like noticed this.
And so I'm like, well, my brain, my story goes to, well, okay, maybe because it says, there was something, maybe I found that he was born in Ireland. So I was like, all right, well, like Owen Wilson and Ben Affleck and Steve Buscemi were these like indie darlings in the 90s. And then so this movie was really, that's what put them to be like, no, these are stars. Like Armageddon was the biggest movie in 1998. It was made by Disney, but through Touchstone.
And it has an Aerosmith song.
It has the Aerosmith song. It was a big cultural deal. Like,
Oh yeah, it was huge.
and
Huge.
and so just even being, you know, in those top 10 credits, right? Like, you should at least have gone, you would have a career just by being, I was in Armageddon. Like, and he had nothing after
And
that.
can I, sorry to interject, but like, when you do a movie, you're like in the gang with people. So he's like in a group with like Steve Buscemi, Ben Affleck, like these major players. Like, he is positioned to launch.
And
that was pretty good.
Like, and he was very, you're in the mix, and it's so, and even like people with smaller roles in that movie, like I said, they go on to be in just Lifetime movies for the rest of their career, or they're just on like Chicago Med or something. And it really was like, this just doesn't make any sense, because I was like, well, like maybe Ben Affleck, or maybe he was like this really prestigious Irish actor or something, and you know, he got fed up with Hollywood and moved back to Ireland, and he's just about the craft, man, you know, and like people thought he was gonna be the next Russell Crowe, or
but he gave
Colin
it
Farrell.
up.
Yes, he turned his back on it, and I just couldn't find anything. He didn't have there wasn't a website, there wasn't an email or a Twitter, an Instagram. He's just a ghost. And it's, the more I watched, and I just kept watching the movie, because it became also this very strange thing where it wasn't that he was just cut out of the movie. Like, I've been cut out of a lot of movies where you go to 3 auditions, and I mean 2 callbacks, and you meet with the directors, and you go and you shoot all these scenes, and like I was in The Holdovers, right, with the Paul Giamatti.
Were you one of the kids?
I was not. No, I was.
Sorry that I don't know.
No, it's, hey, nobody.
You got cut.
No, I got. Oh, I say a line, you hear me and say me, but it was originally to play this part, Sylvester, and I had a name, and it was like I was a townie, and I got to do a Boston accent, and
cool.
I had mutton chops that they were really.
Is it in the bar? Was it a bar scene?
I was up for that one, but no, it was I'm stealing a Christmas tree with
fun.
And
that's so fun.
And then, but my final credit, and I had all these scenes, but they got cut, and then my final credit was just this Christmas tree helper, which I was like, and it was
devastating.
So it was
devastating.
It was just so much work, so many breaks to go your way, and then just to be Christmas tree helper, blinking you miss it, and nobody cares. And
God, this career, man.
Yeah, I know. And so I really, and that was, and so I did, and I mean, same thing with, like, I was in this Amy Schumer movie, I Feel Pretty, and that was another deal where it was 3 callbacks, and it was like Tyler, who our mutual, like, I was in a music video that we were shooting after we did my first audition for I Feel Pretty, that I snuck into. I wasn't on the call sheet. I was just there for the Slender Man movie. I saw other people, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go.
Slender Man is an obsession of mine.
Actually.
Okay. Side note, I'm obsessed with
I did want to
Man.
see that movie.
And
movie.
and so, but it was like, so I go to make that music video, and you know, we shoot it overnight, and then they get me a call back, and I have to, like, after we wrap that, I go right on a bus in New York right back to Boston. I do another tape, and then I'm back in New York doing something, and they're like, the directors are flying in, they want to meet with you, so I have to go back, and it's this whole big thing. And then even when they were like, okay, you're pinned, you're hold, don't schedule anything, and then weeks go by, and then they're like, okay, actually, are you available this day? And then it's just all this thing, and then you show up and you do the work, and you do the scene, and I was in, like, the trailers, and then you go to watch the movie, and they cut right before my line, and it was just like all of that, and that was just for one line.
Not even like being one of the 8 guys in Armageddon.
No, and so this was like, so much work must have gone into getting into that movie,
exactly,
and it just didn't make any sense to me, and because so his IMDb up until that. There was no big breakout indie thing. It was like he had some guest spots on like a Western TV show that got canceled after a season. He was in like a softcore gay kind of indie like exploitation movie. His biggest credit and his first ever credit, which was this HBO TV show, I forget what, but it was a David Lynch produced and directed episode where he's like, and he's the lead, he's this bellhop that kind of goes from room to room and kind of just talks to all these weird characters, and there was like Harry Dean Stanton, And
that's his first credit.
And he's just kind of this like weird bellhop guy. And that was like, so it's on one hand, it's like, man, I would kill to have this guy's career, even the way everything was. And also, this is this like weird David Lynch story, as we'll get into, because it became like this kind of bit in my Instagram where I was like, I'm just gonna lean into this. So I just kept posting about it and being like just detailing, just breaking down the movie and being like, see, look, we can see him here. Right. He says this, but like, he's never spoken to.
You're like that Charlie Day meme where he's like standing in front of the board with the 100%,
100%. And people it was like even my brother and we're like, you gotta let this go. Yeah. He was just an extra. And I was like, he wasn't though. He wasn't.
I know it.
He wasn't just an extra. He had a name. His name was Noonan, and nobody remembers him. And he died saving the Earth. And that was also the part was like, so on the VHS version and the TV version, at the end of the scene, there's the Aerosmith song, and it's this funeral / bizarre wedding scene between Liv Tyler.
Really?
And it's and there's like there's a shot of like, and it says the heroes lost on like the battle against the asteroid, and there's Bruce Willis there's Owen Wilson, and there's one other guy, and then Noonan is cropped out.
Oh my god!
In the widescreen version, he's there, but in the TV and so even when the movie came to VHS, he couldn't even show like it's just he seemingly didn't exist. But the thing is, what really kind of stuck with me was that he was not only he could have just been cut out of the movie, right? But he's there, like he still has line. He's in the trailer. He has a line in the trailer. So it's like, why even have him in the movie at all? And that's what really bugged me, because it just didn't make any sense.
Okay.
And so that was like in March, right? I mean, and
you're like, this won't last.
No,
we're gonna go back to work any minute.
And people, and I had so people were like kind of like, all right, you're going kooky, but then there was a lot of other people on Instagram that were like don't really follow my stories or all that, were like, this is really interesting. Like this is really wow. And I was like, okay, so there are people that are like, this is neat. But I remember I was like, okay, maybe this is maybe I should do like a documentary or some podcast or something. And I remember I was reaching out to all the people, anybody on the IMDb that I could, and just nobody was getting back to me. And
yeah, wait, can you go into, because I remember you told me this. You were like contacting people who worked on the film.
Oh yeah, the producers, all the actors.
DMing these people?
No, DMing straight up.
Wow.
Like I was like, I just have to know, like, what's this dude's deal? And like, I mean, how do you even get in a movie like that with the credits he has? I mean, it's not like he was like, and it's just nothing. And I guess that it was just one of those like existence. You just kind of have to accept some things, and it was still bugging me, but I just had to deal with it. And then cut to, I think it was either June or July. I take the bus in LA. I'm trying to save the planet, but I'm on the bus.
Just like those brave astronauts in Armageddon.
Yes,
you're just a guy blocking an asteroid.
I really see myself in that movie. And I'm on the 217. We're on Hollywood Boulevard in front of like the TCL and all that, and I see this guy on the corner of the street.
No.
Yes.
No.
And it's Noonan. It's the guy. He had long hair. It's gray now. He doesn't look like he's doing so hot. He's on the corner. He's holding a cup. I immediately like slam on the button to stop, and I run out and I run up to him, and I'm shaking, like kind of like right now, and I go, are you Clark Heathcliff Broly were you in Armageddon? And he just looks at me, and he's got these bright blue eyes, and he just goes like, how the fuck do you know that? How do you know my name? How do you know my name, man? That's what? And I go, I've been looking for you. Like I mean, I'm getting worked up now. And I was like, I gotta know. I mean, I had to go, I had to be somewhere. And I was like, do you have a number or an email? And he's like, yeah, I got an email. You can get me out. And so I kind of just tell him about that, about just what I kind of just told you guys. And he's like, he's like, this is amazing. Like, this isn't even part of my route. Like, I don't ever go to Hollywood, but I felt the compulsion to do it today. And this is crazy. And we started talking, and the next day I was like, let's just go for a walk. And I just want to pick your brain. And he tells me, and we're talking about it, and he goes like, on one hand he's like, I really thought maybe I wasn't even in that movie. And because I was invited to the screening, and I wasn't, and once again, it's like nobody cared.
Crisp, refreshing, and unmistakably tasty. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. It's the only drink with real Coca-Cola taste and zero sugar.
So you're running out of closet space. The good news? You don't need to stop shopping. You just need to start selling with The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. Whether it's that mini bag that can't even fit your phone, or those boots you never fully broke in, The RealReal handles everything from photography and copywriting to shipping and pricing. So you can just sit back, get paid, and make room for things that actually feel like you. And with 10,000 plus new arrivals every single day from top designers like Prada, Celine, Louis Vuitton, and Loewe, all for up to 90% off retail, you're bound to find something perfectly on brand to fill that extra closet space with. Plus, right now, you can get an extra $100 to shop when you sell for the first time. Make room for what feels like you. Go to therealreal.com to start selling and get your extra $100 to keep shopping at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com. Terms apply.
Has he seen the movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He saw it alone. He told me about that. Like, he went and saw it alone, and he was extremely upset. I mean, he was like, you have no idea how much, so much of the movie got cut, and I just wasn't in it, and that's and then he started telling me about the on-set stuff, and apparently him and Michael Bay, I got physical with each other.
Oh my gosh.
He got, and to the point where he's told me he was in the astronaut costume and was just like, fuck this, took it off, walked away. And the producer, the producer of the movie, who I had reached out to, and this is the other part that just doesn't make any sense if you're an actor, was that the producers came to his hotel or wherever he was staying and begged him to come back.
That's crazy. And that also really solidifies that he is in the mix. He is for producers to come to you and be like, if you get it together, we can move past this. They are banking on you. This guy's probably going to be a star because they can just,
replace you. They would just replace you.
No. And that's what people do. I would tell people that, and they were like, yeah, so, they probably liked them. I was like, no, that's not what happens on the
size of a movie.
It was a mega movie. They don't, they could just get someone else. If you want to, even before COVID, there's a guy that already signed a contract ready to go just in case you don't play nice or you want more money, they go with the other guy. You are treated as you are this really disposable, there's millions of other people just like you who want to be in this movie. And the part is also not integral to the movie. If he's just
clearly
he's just he's there's a couple scenes where he gets in a fight. He's kind of and so anyway, and I part of him, and also on the research was I was reading the scripts, right? Because I was maybe this was kind of if you've ever worked on a project, you have an initial idea and you become so attached to that even when it no longer serves the movie anymore, you're just but it was one of my first ideas. That's what the movie is. And his character isn't in the first draft of the script. It's not in the second draft of the script. He's not a part of the movie. And then it wasn't until I found the third rewrite that was written by, I'm probably going to mess up, but John James Abrams, who is
J.J. Abrams?
J.J.
Shut up.
That is the first time that Noonan is written into the movie. And then here's the other really kind of strange part, and is that he's described as a Latino character. Oh. That he's like this Latino ex-gangbanger that like he just kind of like he doesn't know too much about oil drilling, but he's just really tough. And he's introduced as him getting into a fight at a bar, and then they're like, yeah, well, we got to bring Noonan. And so it makes no sense. Whoa. Why? And it's this guy Clark was telling me about was that, so yeah, he's still in LA. He never left. That's the other part. He's just been in Hollywood for the last 20 years and, you know, in and out of halfway houses and dealing with a lot of substance abuse and was like also like, hey, take a look at my screenplay. Here's my music demo. I looked you up. You have reps. Like, can you maybe set up a meeting? And it was like, and I'm like, I'm in no different position than you, and
that is like, that's a really interesting thing too. Is like, so many people are actually like closer to that than to being like a millionaire, billionaire or anything. No,
exactly. Like that's and so especially during quarantine when I didn't have unemployment.
Yeah, no one is working.
And but he was telling me, and so I was like, how'd you get this part, man? Like that's what I was, and it was really cool because when he was reminiscing, you could see him like time travel, and it was like, yeah, I grew up and I wanted to be an astronaut. That was the only thing I could do, and Ireland didn't have a NASA program, so I was like, all right, well maybe I can be it in the movies. And I was like, no kidding. He's like, yeah. And so he moved out here to be like maybe a musician, and him and his brother were roommates together, and he's just talking about like all that like fun kind of 90s, like he's like, yeah, I was dating this girl, and like, oh no, I was sleeping with this girl, and she was dating an agent at the time, and I was like, one day I just showed up when they were on a date, and was like, hey, I'm an actor, can you rep me? And the guy was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, you would just kind of like go into these auditions, he's like, I don't know how to act. Whatever. And you would just do it, and you book in the stuff. And then I guess he said, like, for Armageddon, he just did an audition and a callback, and then they sent him the offer. And he went to Florida, and like you were saying, was in the mix. He's like, it's the best time in the world, man. It's like you're going out every night, like everybody's buying you drinks.
LA in the 90s, man.
How old was he when they were filming?
I think he was in his mid-30s.
Wow. Okay, so then he's what, 50s now?
Yeah, definitely. And he, and the thing was, so he just never gets acknowledged or mentioned, but.
It is so crazy that you freaking ran into him.
Insane.
How do you explain that? Like, is that the power of an obsession? What do you make of that?
Yeah.
So I have a chaotic life, but I also have a very fortunate life. And from a very early age, the David Lynch, Harry Dean Stanton thing is like, yeah, no, everything is predetermined, and there is this sort of fate, and maybe we have this sort of, the more you manifest and think about something, and I'm a very logical, I'm a secular person, but I can't help but look at all of the universe conspiring, everything conspiring in your favor, and you almost, as an actor, you have to believe that.
You have to be a little delusional.
You have to.
Yeah.
And because everything I've booked has been because I was in the right place at the right time, meeting this person, that led to this, and then this led to that, and if I wasn't here, then and that's how I kind of rationalize a lot of the good and bad things. And
yeah, we're here doing this podcast because we were both at this show on that night,
exactly.
And you knew Tyler.
And that, how I know Tyler is also because I randomly went to Sundance one year and was at the right party at the right time because I spoke to this one person, and it's a whole thing, and you can but fortune is a wheel that goes up and down. And sometimes it can go up, and sometimes it can go really down. And I think that's also why I was really sort of obsessing about this movie or this incident, was because it was like, it really did feel like either Bay or the universe was really being really spiteful to this guy. Like, it wasn't like there was this sort of very intentional, we're gonna like damage your career indefinitely, because he never did anything else, despite still trying to.
His fortune went up and his fortune went down.
Because it was this like easy come, easy go, where he lucked out, but he just, even if you're lucky, like you can also be really unlucky, and that was kind of something I really related to, because I was an extra in that one movie that got bumped to a principal, and that movie got into Sundance, and I ran into a mutual friend, and he brought me to this party, and that's how I met my agents, and it was like, wow, this is all kind of, everything's going with me, everything's working in my favor, and then it was like that last year, and then quarantine, it was like, oh man, everything's not working in my favor anymore, I was talking, but he kept telling me other stories, and I really felt this sort of duty, this allegiance or camaraderie, as being like, I'm gonna figure this out for you, and I'm going to because he also just didn't know. He just didn't know what happened, and I was like, I'm gonna do my best to try to figure this out. And when I found that J.J. Abrams script, it really was like, oh, because it became kind of clear that this movie had been greenlit just from the premise, and also that just hey, they're making a movie called Deep Impact that's about an asteroid and so we just got to make our own.
Exactly.
And also, we got Bruce Willis. We're gonna get Michael Bay, who just made The Rock. It's gonna be great. And the script was really this, they were just throwing anything at the wall, and they just were like, well, whatever works, and they really didn't have a plan. From all the interviews and everything I could kind of get, and that he just kind of was he was the guy that drew the short straw, I guess, and probably maybe was a nuisance on set, but still, it's just, how do you get there?
Kind of an unreliable narrator, but it's wild. It's wild to be like, I'm credited with a name on a Michael Bay movie, the biggest movie ever, and then basically disappear,
while also still trying to have a career.
When was the last time you talked to him?
So that was another part of this, was he was in and it was after that conversation where I kind of was like, hey, I wish I had a clearer answer, but from everything I can get, it's really just, they had no idea what they were doing. They were just like, well, we'll just throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks, and that's really that's all I got for you.
That's so hard, because that's when you're an actor, it's like sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and that's the answer you're gonna get. That is the answer.
Truly,
it just didn't go your way.
And it was this kind of nice moment where he was like, really, I thank you for that. And I really didn't, up until I met you, I just didn't think anybody cared, anybody even knew, and it just this feeling like abandoned, right? Like just this abandoned, and then after that he was like, well, I'm moving back to Ireland.
I kind of think, I feel happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, he was like, all right, I'm done with Hollywood. Goodbye, good riddance. I'm going back to Ireland.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
There's other twists and turns to this story that are like a lot darker, but not to. It's just, there's it wouldn't be fair to Clark. I guess it's just not my place.
Of course.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
But I guess the real, the idea of this being my obsession,
right,
and why this was so critical, important to me, it's really because I was like, I felt like I wasn't being recognized and I was invisible and sort of abandoned by, you know, a lot of things. Like even when I did Dexter, New Blood, and I have like in a big part, and it was a part of it's pretty substantial to the canon. I'm in like 4 episodes and
racked up the most confirmed kills.
Yeah, it's a cool part, and like, you know, and I had a great time on set, and you know, Michael C. Hall was a great guy, and we did our own stunts together, and it was a great show. But you know, and I didn't get invited to the premiere, and I really was like, it's, and then even, you know, the one guy I kind of keep in touch, the director, he didn't get brought back to the show, but like none of the other, like, it's that, I mean, and all movies are like this, and it's hard being a sort of a, you know, an actor where you have to have such like raw feelings, and you have to be so uninhibited, and you deal with a lot of rejection every day. But then even when you finally get across the finish line, and you're a part of this family, and you make friends, and you think it's going to be like that, like you said, you're in the mix, and we're all gonna get there. And you know, and even when I got my agents, like that was the goal. I got the big agents that rep Channing Tatum and Amanda Seyfried, and I'm gonna be on the way. And it's just, so yeah, like during all this happened, I got let go from my agents, but via Actors Access.
Let's explain. So Actors Access is the site that basically all actors kind of get auditions through. It's when you get an agent, and you are sort of under their umbrella, and sometimes if you get dropped by your agents, you get a
automated message saying
like, you are no longer on the roster.
If this is an error, please report it.
My God.
And it was at
sickening.
And it was at that point where I was like, okay, I think I'm done. Like, I'm moving to Ireland, man. like Clark, what's up, dude?
Clark.
Because it was like, well, that's it. Like, I guess just things didn't work out in my favor. Easy come, easy go. And luckily, you know, that's a couple weeks later, a casting director reached out to me personally that I'd worked with for a couple other, like a German TV movie a couple years prior, and she was like, and it was for this untitled Showtime miniseries that ended up being Dexter, and that's what I booked.
And your fortune went up again.
Fortune went up,
and that's the industry.
Yeah,
it's sick.
And but really, it was that because the woman I was seeing at the time, and I'm is everybody who I was speaking to, I'm trying to be like, isn't this the craziest thing ever? Like, this shouldn't happen, and people are just like, what's your deal? Like, it's like, and they really were like, I think you're just projecting a lot of yourself. Like, you feel invisible, but you feel like you've forgotten. Yeah.
I'm curious about, like, I think that obsessions are kind of a projection, and I think that's what's like beautiful about them. Like, you get obsessed with something because you see a piece of yourself in it, and because it lights you up in a specific way that something else isn't. And so I think that, like, our obsessions sort of reveal, even if it's stickers, like,
maybe
an obsession reveals a kind of, it reveals our deepest parts of ourselves, and like, it reveals our fears and our biases.
Sometimes I just really wish I could just like stick to stuff. like I love how stickers, they just stay on the wall and they just stay there. And sometimes I wish I could just stay somewhere and just be stuck.
Just like that sticker.
Yeah. And then they're really hard to peel off, just like me, because I'm sticky.
Do you have any other questions before?
I think we all cling to stories of like being discovered or reaching your dreams, and it's like, for every one of those stories there is a story like Clark. It's just like the other side of this business that we're in.
God, yeah.
And it's very sad. It's a very dark story. And
I don't know if I prepped you for how dark this is.
And it gets really darker. But I mean, that's what I feel like I'm at liberty to say. That's what I mean. It was this very like, because then as it got darker, I remember then telling people, like, even people that were on board and being like, yeah, this is cool. They were like, some stories are left like unknown. Like, expect like some Hollywood things are like, don't go down that road. Well, and I think it's like, it's just, this was my David Lynch story. This was like my movie. Like this was Mulholland Drive, my version of it. And then it's this, but it's just still this thing of like, I mean, because the only other time I've ever been obsessed, and because I think of it, I think it really is this like compulsion. It's not just like an interest. It's a compulsion that I can't stop thinking about. And I remember, I mean, a year or so ago, a couple of years, I mean, I was in like a really toxic relationship, right? And it's not even that I see something in it. It was more just after the breakup, there were just so many stories that she had told me that just didn't add up, and I just kept ruminating, even though I'm like, she's a bad person, whatever. I'm glad I had this, but it just couldn't there were some things I just couldn't stop thinking about, and I remember her ex-fiance or whatever, we had a mutual friend, and they were like, all right, well, I'll set you guys up a coffee, and he was like, I don't really want to talk about her, but like, okay, I'll meet with you like for 40 minutes, and like today, I was like, okay, well, I only have 40 minutes, so I have to like, I made an outline, and I'm not a prepper, and I'm like, I had to like, okay, I have to ask this question, I have to, what's up with this, and whatever happened with that, did this even happen? And it really was, I was on the way to this coffee meet, and it was like me feeling the need to ask all these questions and to work it all out. Like that's what's important. Like that's the real question here. It's not like no answer that he could give me was ever going to bring me any peace. And I mean, there was a lot of, luckily he also had the exact same experience. That was also like, and kind of like Clark, I guess that's what we found this sort of affinity with, of like, okay, we are not alone. Mm-hmm. Like we have been seen, and even though it's this kind of thing that could just get swept under the rug, it's like, yeah, you had a messy relationship, no big deal. And that's what he also felt the same way. And he was also, by the end of it, really gracious. That's like, God, I've been trying to, like, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that's like, that, had these types of thoughts. And that's what we got out of it.
I think that's cool. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one who has these types of thoughts.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think my takeaway from this story too is that this can be a very insidious, cruel, awful industry and business, and you have to live for more than just our career. Amen. You can't, because it will spit you up and shoot you out. You will get your heart broken constantly, but if you don't have your community, if you don't know who you are as a person, a human being, mm-hmm. bigger than just an actor, just like our story is so much bigger than just acting. It's like we're, especially everything going on in the world today, my God, it's like, mm-hmm. who the fuck cares if you book a guest star? Yeah. And it's like, it's like important to us, but it has to be bigger. Your purpose has to be bigger. Mm-hmm. You can't put it all on a Michael Bay role. I'm not saying Clark did, but like, you think like, oh, my life's going to change and turn around when I get there. But you realize the higher you get, the closer you get, there's new problems and new problems and new problems.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It's like it's climbing a mountain. Like everybody mm-hmm. sees skiing. Mm-hmm. Like, man, I want to ski. And some people, they get to ride the ski lift. Some people are just on the top of the mountain. They have a house up there and they get to ski down. Yeah. But for us, it's like, it's this climbing and crawling mm-hmm. up to get to snow. And sometimes you slip, but then you're like, and then sometimes maybe you find another path up, and you're like, man, I can't wait to go skiing. And it's really like, I don't think you ever get to go skiing. You just get to be like, actually, I love mountain climbing.
Right. I like being on a mountain.
I'm a mountain climber.
Exactly.
And I'm not a skier. I'm a mountain climber. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah. Well, that is incredible. What a crazy story.
Thanks for listening to that story, Nina.
Yeah, thank you for listening to that story.
Wild. Wild.
Thank you for having me on and letting me share my story.
I can tell, and I could tell when the first time you told me this, like, how much you care about it. And I think that
yeah. And the problem is this, like, I still do. And there is that, like, I was going back to the tapes, the voice memos I had recorded of our conversations, and was like trying to, and I was like, oh, I got to tread lightly, because I could not spiral, but just be like, this is all I'm going to be thinking about, and blow off other. And during quarantine, I had that time to do that.
Right.
Whereas like, I'm in the mix, hopefully. So I got other stuff to do, but that's obsession. It's not just a like, yo, I'm obsessed with matcha, and maybe you are, but I'm just, like it's something that you don't really choose either. It's like it's this,
not consciously at least.
No, it's this like, I mean, in this case it felt like a calling, but other times it's this sort of calling to reveal something about yourself that you're like, that your subconscious is like screaming out, like, yo, we are not addressing something, like you need to work this out, and we're gonna have this sort of extroverted projection for you to like toil with and get to where we need to be. But right now it's like, because you're just, and maybe if I'm in therapy now, maybe I was in therapy at that time, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But
interesting.
But and it's also the quarantine aspect too of like, everybody was in this state of unknown of is society even going to be a thing? And I remember being like, it's that like that meme of like, autism didn't exist back in my day, and it's like, but then uncles are like obsessed with trains and stuff, right? Where it's like, that's what this quarantine, like, I remember being like, quarantine wasn't so hard on me. And then I think back like, no, I spiraled out of
smash cut to you like pouring over 5,000 scripts of Armageddon and like DMing producers.
And I was like, quarantine was chill. I was like, it's cool. I like not having to go to work. And it's like, no, I wasn't.
No, it's like the Parks and Rec bed.
Right.
Could an obsessed person make this?
It's like the stop motion person stand in the. I just watched that episode this week. Oh my God, Dakota, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I can't wait to watch Armageddon again. I'm gonna look for Noonan.
Be careful.
I'm so excited because it'll suck me in.
It'll suck you in because it still doesn't.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it.
How do people find you? How can they follow along? With
Instagram is kind of what I'm mostly active on.
What's your
Dakota Lustik? Dakota Lustick.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on, Dakota.
Thank you, Dakota.
Yay. Oh man, you guys are the best.
Nina, I mean, we don't know when this is gonna like drop, but what should people know?
I guess, you can find me on Instagram at Nina_Concepcion. Catherine.
You can find me on Instagram at Catherine Bourne Taylor.
And follow our show Instagram, which also will be updating with the podcast info. It's at obsessed_the show. And come to our next live show.
We have a live show every month. It's at Nico's in Atwater Village. It's a super cute wine store. Then you go down the stairs and it's a super cute wine bar and theater. The vibes are very, very good.
Yes.
And we love to do it.
We'd love to do it. Come on out. We'd love to see you there. Oh, and if you have an obsession, you're like, I need to talk about this, in our Instagram and our bio, we have a submission form. It lays out exactly what we're looking, or, not what we're looking for, but how to like submit to our show and or a podcast now.
Yeah.
So fill that out if you want to talk about an obsession with us.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Okay. Stay obsessed.
Bye. Stay obsessed.
We are obsessed. What is healthy spirituality, and how does it help us thrive? We explore these questions on the new season of Within 4, hosted by me, Dr. Pam King. Within 4 bridges psychology and spiritual wisdom to help you thrive, featuring conversations with experts like self-compassion pioneer Kristen Neff and author-activist Parker Palmer. So go ahead, follow Within 4, hosted by Dr. Pam King, wherever you get your podcasts.
Curious about the future of healthcare? Tomorrow's Cure, the chart-topping and Ambie Award finalist podcast from Mayo Clinic, brings it to you today. I'm Kathy Worzer, and in this new season, I sit down with researchers, doctors, and industry experts who are leading the way in medical innovation. From cutting-edge technology to breakthrough treatments, we'll explore how new solutions are improving and even saving lives. Follow Tomorrow's Cure wherever you listen to podcasts.